All right, I'm going to get started, and I know that more people are going to join us. And for those of you that have already joined us, welcome. My name is Aaron Borgeson. I'm an admissions officer. Pronouns are he, him, and I am so excited to welcome you from San Luis Obispo here tonight for our second Tuesday in a row, showcasing our 6 different colleges here. I got to share with you, I am so thrilled to be joined by the Orfalea College of Business students and staff here tonight to showcase everything here at Cal Poly within our business college. That is going to be one of our 6 colleges here at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. And I'm going to showcase a couple different things in terms of some housekeeping items here about the webinar format. If this is your first time joining us, we're going to be here to take your questions. We're also here to really showcase the experiences of our current ambassadors and our student representatives here tonight. But if you have any questions, go ahead and utilize that Q&A functionality down below. Throw in any questions that you have tonight. If we can further explain and elaborate on anything that we're talking about tonight, we'll make sure that we do so. You're also going to leave here with a whole suite of information. We'll throw out if there's any pertinent links and any information that we can provide to you. We'll do that in the chat. But if you have any questions, go ahead and utilize that Q&A functionality. And then last but not least, the live transcriptability. If that makes your life easier, there is a live transcript available at the bottom of your screen. And then last but not least, this is our 3rd Tuesday in a row. We kicked it off on October 19th with a kind of showcase on all things Cal Poly. We have different representatives from so many different places, including our student body president and our tour guides, and so many more students represented. So that is now on our YouTube channel. We reference the Cal Poly Admissions YouTube channel. That's where our existing videos are. And if you can't stay for the whole evening tonight, we'll post in the coming days this recorded presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our Orfalea College of Business representatives, and I'm going to bounce over the Q&A. I know we have folks standing by for all questions, and I can't wait for us to dive deeper into the Orfalea College of Business coming up next. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll turn it over to you all.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Amy Carter. I'm the Assistant Dean for Student Success in the Orfalea College of Business, and my role includes oversight of our student services area and a number of initiatives really designed to enhance and support the student experience. I am joined by a lovely team of our student ambassadors from the Orfalea College of Business, including my co-presenters Zoe Sprints and Sammy Katwan, who are going to introduce themselves right now.
Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Zoe Sprints. I'm a 4th year business administration major concentrating in finance with a minor in psychology. On campus, I'm a student ambassador for the College of Business. I'm also a peer mentor. I was a WOW leader, which is our orientation program, and I'm also involved in Jewish life on campus. And this past summer, I had the opportunity to intern with Apple in their finance department, and I'm really excited to be returning there full time next fall.
Great job, Zoe. Hi, everyone. My name is Sammy. I am a 4th year as well. I'm a student of the Orfalea College of Business. I'm concentrating in information systems, minoring in sales. Some of my involvement is I'm a College of Business ambassador. I'm also been a part of Greek Life all 4 years and I've held various leadership positions there. Currently, I'm representative of Cal Poly's student-led venture capital firm called Poly Canyon Ventures. Other things that I've done in terms of internship experiences, I was working in downtown SLO for 2 years part-time for a Google Cloud consulting firm. 2 summers ago, I interned at Salesforce on their sales strategy team. And then this last summer, I interned with a fintech company in the Bay Area called Plaid, and I will be returning there full-time next year.
Amy, you're muted.
Awesome. Thank you, Zoe and Sammy. We also have 3 additional ambassadors who I'll introduce in the second portion of our presentation. But this first 15 to 20 minutes is just really to give you an overview of what the College of Business is all about, how we do learn by doing in OCOB, otherwise known as Orfalea College of Business, otherwise known as OCOB or OCOB for short, and what makes this place really special and unique. And really a lot of it has to do with the type of college experience you're looking for. If you want small class sizes, a career readiness focus, the ability to get applied experience in the classroom and also outside the classroom through mentorship, through internship experiences, leadership opportunities, as you'll hear from our panelists today. Experiential learning is really at the heart and soul of what it means to be an Orfalea College of Business student at Cal Poly. We have an amazing alumni network that we'll talk about a little bit later too, that really want to give back and love to find any excuse to get to beautiful San Luis Obispo and get back to this area and this community, and mentor current students. And our graduates leave our 3 majors and go into a really wide range of different industries, opportunities, roles, and have a lot of opportunities for career advancement as well, based off of the learn by doing experiences they may have during their undergraduate experience. A few stats to share, just the size of our college as a whole. We're the 4th largest college on campus, around 3,000 students. The acceptance rate is around 27% of those students who apply and get accepted as, through the admissions process. We have a number of different rankings that we're proud of, one of which is ranked 8th in the nation for best return on investment from payscale.com. And our graduation rates are the highest in the CSU system, and as an 89% 5-year rate, and also an 80% 4-year rate. So we have a lot of support mechanisms to make sure that our students are taking the classes that they need at the right time, are graduating on time. And then an additional stat is that we have a 94% of our graduates within 8 months of graduation are employed or attending graduate school full time. So a huge focus on career development and applied learning that you'll find throughout the College of Business. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Zoe and Sammy.
All right, I'll be touching on the 3 majors of the College of Business, as well as a little bit of information on the concentrations. So as you can see, the 3 majors are stated to the left: business administration, economics, and industrial technology and packaging, business administration being one of the more popular options. And we have a variety of concentrations. I won't go through them all, but what is important to know is that you do not have to pick a concentration right off the bat when coming to Cal Poly. As most of you were aware, when applying, you have to select a major off the bat, and that allows you to take introductory courses. So in the College of Business, you have introductory accounting classes, introductory finance classes, marketing, information systems, and so on. And so this really helps you get a taste of all the different concentrations. And the concentrations allow you, in the later half of your degree, really focus on an area of emphasis that you find most interesting, or something that you develop a passion for that will give you a leg up in your career. And we have other mechanisms to help you decide your concentrations. We have concentration panels. You can obviously talk to your advisors. You can talk to peer advisors. And so there's a lot of resources there to help you kind of guide yourself through that decision making. And if there are more questions about concentrations, we're happy to answer them later, but we'll go on to the next slide.
Awesome. So we have a short video to share with you all about what different students here in the College of Business feel like this college means to them. So I'll just get right into it.
My name is Nicole Thornton. I'm a second-year information systems student here in the College of Business.
Hi, my name is Max Callan and I'm a first-year business student.
Hi, my name is Adam Cherney and I'm a third-year business student concentrating in finance.
Hi, my name is Shiv and I'm a 4th year concentrating in information systems. When asked what the College of Business means to me, the first word that really came into mind is home. This is a place where I found my best friends, my future co-workers, my future roommates.
Students are not pitted against one another in the classroom. Rather, they are motivated and incentivized to work together to not only be their best, but also help others alongside them succeed.
No matter what you're interested in or when you need the support, there will always be someone there to help you and be your biggest cheerleader.
To me, OCOB is unique because of the resources it provides for its students. We make sure that you're successful not just at your time here, but post-graduation as well.
With the help of my peer mentor Vince, I explored a lot of things I wasn't expecting to my first year. I looked into studying abroad, I applied for positions like peer advising and ambassadors, and I also got help looking for internships and doing mock interviews.
I have found a community within this college, and I'm so grateful I picked Cal Poly.
What I think makes OCOB really special is the dedication in terms of alumni. The alumni we have are not only successful, but they're down-to-earth, humble people They love their experience at OCOB and at Cal Poly, and they really want to help students succeed.
OCOP has also provided me with a dynamic environment for learning and a support system where I can lean on my peers and professors for any comfort.
Something that differentiates Cal Poly from other schools is our learn by doing philosophy. As an industrial technology and packaging major, I feel like I've had learn by doing integrated into almost every class I've taken throughout my time in the College of Business.
OCOP has provided me a home for my own self-discovery, where I can mold who I am and who I want to be.
To me, the Orfalea College of Business means opportunity. The opportunity to get involved, the opportunity to learn by doing, and the opportunity to make friends of a lifetime. For me, I've had all of these opportunities and more at the Orfalea College of Business, and I know that you will too.
That video gives me chills every time I see it, because I definitely agree with everything that all of those students said. And if you have any questions about things that they mentioned or anything, feel free to add those in the Q&A. But we'll keep going with our presentation now. So we're going to get a little bit into Learn by Doing, which was shared in that video. Learn by Doing is Cal Poly's motto, and it's something that the College of Business takes very seriously as well. And so Sammy and I are both going to share a little bit of our Learn by Doing experiences in our classes. And yeah, if you have any questions, let us know.
Thanks, Zoe. Yeah, cannot put enough emphasis on this. We do not only just talk about learn by doing, but we really do walk the walk. And one slide doesn't sum it up enough, but we'll dive into it. So here, Biz 394, this was systems analysis and design. And what we were tasked with doing was essentially an IT project for an organization in our community. And we had to go outreach to what we found is a local restaurant who, because of the pandemic, needed a solution to handle takeout orders because they were currently handling them by phone. And so we analyzed their requirements, designed a system, and presented it to the business and to our professor with the hopes of we were solving a problem in terms of cost savings from having to use DoorDash. We were streamlining their processes to make them a lot more efficient in terms of how the way they handled their orders. And we got to just engage with a real business in terms of like the takeaways that we got. We were talking with people like consultants, and we were presenting our findings back to our class. All in all, a super hands-on learning experience that is, again, unique to the College of Business.
Yeah, so I'll share one of my stories. It was in Biz 346, which is product marketing, which is a product marketing project. It's a marketing class that every business student is required to take. Essentially, every student is put into a group, and you get to create a product and market it throughout the quarter. And then at the end, you deliver a Shark Tank-like pitch to the professor and a team of investors, and it becomes this really cool. They pit all of the classes against each other, and you kind of get like one big winner. And it's a really exciting time. So my group created it's called a safe sleep, and essentially it was to help prevent drowsy driving. And so people who are commuters who commute, 3+ hours a day, they might get tired on the road after working. So the idea there was to be able to ensure safer driving and less accidents. But while we talk about Shark Tank, one of a Cal Poly alumni, she actually recently went on Shark Tank with her company called Passion Footwear. And she started this company at Cal Poly in our Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And she went on Shark Tank. It's essentially a convertible heel. So the heel can pop off the bottom of the shoe and then pop back on, depending on if you want to walk in flats or heels that day. And she went on Shark Tank, and, probably from this class, Biz 346, and other classes she took at Cal Poly, was definitely prepared and ready. And it's an awesome company that we love to share. Awesome. So there are a lot more learn by doing opportunities here at Cal Poly. We know that many of you are just starting to think about your college experience, but every senior at Cal Poly, so the end of your time here, does a senior project. And so there are many different options, and they all kind of depend on what concentration you're part of, what major you're part of, and you can really decide what is best for you depending on, where you might be going in the future. So I'll touch on the first two, and then Sammy will touch on the second two. So the first is a project portfolio, which essentially students who are in accounting or tax can help local community members in SLO do their tax returns. So essentially, it's a really great way to support the community, but also learn how to, in real life, do people's taxes and understand the step-by-step situations of what you might encounter, the problem solving, and all the rest. The next one is a senior management project portfolio. And here, finance students can get $500,000 to invest in the stock market, and they essentially get to choose where they put that money. And so throughout the year, they'll be, running regressions, like looking for alphas and betas to really understand where, their money is put to best use, how to diversify their portfolio and all the rest. And a fun fact about this project is in 2007, the students who were doing it actually predicted the stock market crash of 2008, and they pulled out all of their money before the market crashed and saved the whole $500,000 that Cal Poly gave them. So it's a really exciting thing that our students were able to do, and saved us definitely a lot of money as well.
Awesome. And I'll talk about the building a business first. That is actually the senior project that I'm partaking in right now. Essentially, it is a 3-quarter long project, so all year, and you are tasked with finding a problem in the first quarter. In the second quarter, you're looking for a solution. You're building prototypes. How do we solve this problem? And then the third quarter, you're again iterating further and really coming down to it where when it comes to the end of the school year, day one of summer, you could continue this business into the future. It's a really great safe space to pursue those entrepreneurial passions. And on top of that, you get all the resources that are available in the Center for Innovation of Entrepreneurship, which, another fun fact, is the second best entrepreneurial center within the nation. Another cool part of being at the Cal Poly community there. Next, the case competitions. This is another thing where it gets really hands-on. We'll have consulting firms or investment banks like Goldman Sachs come and present a case to a bunch of students, and you create a team and you go and you pitch your solution to the to the problem within the case. Again, it's like a multi-day event, and this can count as a senior project because, again, it's another example of learn by doing.
Awesome. So you might be wondering where students at Cal Poly and the College of Business end up after college. So here is just a graphic with a lot of different companies that we end up at. Both Sammy and I talked about Salesforce, Apple, Plaid, but the big four definitely loves Cal Poly if you're interested in accounting or information systems or consulting or financial services. But really you can go anywhere. We like to say we kind of get the best of both worlds because we're living in the Central Coast, which means that we get recruiters from both the Bay Area and LA. But we're really starting to branch out, looking at locations like Seattle and Portland, Oregon, San Diego, some in the Midwest, Colorado, and the East Coast. And I think what we mentioned before, the network that you get at Cal Poly and the alumni relations and all of the rest kind of really sets you up for success in terms of where you want to end up and what you can do with your degree that you get here. And I'll also mention, we talked about majors and concentrations, and obviously you do have to specifically pick one. But I think because you are, an economics major or a business administration or industrial technology and packaging, you really get a well-rounded education. You're not just finance, you're not just accounting. So it's a really great thing because in the future, if you don't want to do that one thing for the rest of your life, you can really pivot because you did also take marketing classes or entrepreneurship classes or all the rest. So it's a really great opportunity to, focus on one area of business, but also have that well-rounded education where you can pivot and look elsewhere later. Awesome. So like we talked about, we're students and we like to be ready day one. So I'll let Sammy talk about some graduate success.
Great. So we have tons of alumni that we're very proud of, a couple in particular that we'll shout out on this slide. Gary Erickson, the founder of Cliff Bar. That is a cool story. There's actually a podcast that highlights his experiences in starting that company. Chuck Templeton, the founder of OpenTable, the reservation app that I'm sure many of you maybe use today. We have Tammy Keeley, who's a partner at Goldman Sachs, which we'll have a video on her in a moment. And then lastly, Scott Edwards, the founder and CEO of Dropwater. So again, you kind of see a lot of founders that again is part of that entrepreneurial mindset that a lot of Cal Poly students have.
Yeah, like Sammy mentioned, this is a video of Tammy Keeley. She's been a partner at Goldman Sachs for a really long time now. And in 2019, I believe she was the outstanding alumni. She won the outstanding alumni award. So this is the video about her.
So Tammy Kiley represents the best of our alumni in terms of her success in her profession. She's really the top of her profession as a partner at Goldman Sachs.
So working for Goldman Sachs has been quite a journey. I've been at the company now for 20 years. In my job, if you're not incredibly busy, you're not having fun. I help companies with mergers and acquisitions, so they may be wanting to buy another company or sell a division. Back in 2014, 2015, with Arm Holdings, which is a UK-based provider of intellectual property, they were sold to SoftBank, and that was about a $32 billion deal. But that was really fun to work on.
Tammy is probably the leading investment banker in the semiconductor industry in the world. A very tough industry, and has been instrumental in the success of a lot of companies. Just has a boundless, amazing energy. She's fearless. And she's raised two wonderful boys at the same time, too. And she's got a wonderful husband, Tom. But she finds time to give back.
I get a lot out of being back in this community. I get energized by the students. I love their curiosity. I'd like to think the students get a lot out of it, but I get a lot out of it, too. That makes it really easy to keep coming back. The 4 years I spent in San Luis Obispo at Cal Poly were some of the best years of my life. Just fabulous professors who really taught me and gave me the skills that I needed to get that first job out of college and to actually hit the ground running. Meeting my husband when I was 20 years old, meeting him was one of the most important things that happened to me at Cal Poly.
So Tammy's a great role model for our students, and she's lived into that by coming down here many times and speaking in classes and doing roundtables. Perhaps the most significant is the difference that she's made in our ability to be able to place students in investment banking. Tammy started the Goldman Sachs case competition, which in its first year maybe had 25 students. 100 students were participating this last year, and it's really helped to create a lot of interest in investment banking among our students.
I'm really delighted that we now have 7 students going full-time into investment banking from 0 3 years ago.
She's been super generous in supporting our new building student center project. Very generous.
I like doing what I do here because I get a lot out of it, and I don't want accolades for it. So I'm honored, but also this award is not what it's about for me.
This is an amazing institution, and in many different ways, and the kinds of students that we help in their careers who end up being people like Tammy Kiley, who are at the top of their professions, it just gives you so much pride in this institution. It feels wonderful to be able to honor her.
This is one of just many amazing alumni that we have, and we're honored to know them and for them to come back and to support our college and to support us as current students, and to continue supporting for years to come as well.
On that note, again, career readiness is a big emphasis in the College of Business. And as you heard in the video, being ready day one is something that we like to emphasize. There are tons of career opportunities coming out of Cal Poly. You heard investment banking, but again, accounting, marketing, any sort of financial services, IT, technology, information systems. So there's tons and tons of opportunity coming out the gate. Biz 206 is one opportunity for students to get that career readiness preparation. In that class, you'll work on your LinkedIn, you'll work on your resume, which some of you may not be as familiar with now, but I'm sure by the end of that class, which you'll take your second quarter at Cal Poly, you'll get very, very familiar with those tools and how to leverage them to be successful. And then next, we have a dedicated career readiness center that's run by students that are in your shoes and understand the pressures of being career ready. They will, again, spend time on your LinkedIn and resume with you, but they'll also take it to the next level and do interview prep, which we can all tell you is super, super important to be able to talk about your experiences and share your stories that you gained here at Cal Poly and how you can leverage those to be a standout student when it comes to an interview. So again, that focus here is career readiness and making sure that everyone is ready to go to nail interviews and to be ready day one.
Yeah, so here are some resources and next steps if you're interested in coming to campus and to learn more about Cal Poly and the College of Business specifically. Before I turn it back over to Aaron to talk more about admission stuff, the ambassadors do give tours of just the College of Business on Mondays and Fridays in person at Cal Poly, but we also give tours virtually every other week on Wednesday. And so you can find those tours here on this website, and we can also send out that link in a minute as well. So there are many opportunities to come to Cal Poly to learn more and to ask, current students who really know and can answer all the questions that you might have. And we'll turn it over to Aaron now.
Yeah, Zoe, thanks so much. I was trying to throw in the URLs for the virtual visits and the in-person visits as you were saying that. So that's perfect. I want to just mention today is Tuesday, November 2nd, and it is now into November. So that means the application is going to close this month. The application, if you're looking to apply to Cal Poly, is going to close on November 30th. And the application has been live for undergraduate first year and transfer students. So we encourage you to utilize calstate.edu/apply to apply to Cal Poly and make sure that you complete that application by November 30th. You'll absolutely receive a decision. This is guaranteed from our team in admissions by April 1st. This is, like I said, the second Tuesday that we're coming live and showcasing our 6 different colleges. So if you're still in the audience thinking about what college and what major to specifically apply for, we have our last 2 colleges coming live to you next week. That's going to be the College of Architecture and Environmental Design, College of Agriculture, Food and Environmental Sciences, and then join us on November 16th to hear more about student resources and experiences. So there are so many different options. You can even sign up for a virtual tour right where you indicated the opportunity to attend tonight's webinar. So continue to experience the Orfalea College of Business. Come to campus. San Luis Obispo, we're offering tours like we mentioned, specifically even the Orfalea College of Business. You can see some more student experiences, and we'd love to have you here. So that's a little bit about the experiences and the opportunities to further connect with us. Let's dive into our, I think I'm going to go right back to Zoe. Oh, that's right. Totally forgot to mention that the last thing I want to make sure that I mention is the YouTube page. The YouTube page, that's that bottom link that we showcase there, is a great resource to show to further understand the different the resources on applying to Cal Poly. We have a YouTube video for each page of the undergraduate application. And then something that we did really exciting yesterday afternoon on IGTV, our Instagram, we went live in campus dining in Vista Grande, which is our newest dining complex. So if you want to learn more about the different experiences for students, check out our YouTube page, check out our Instagram page. So many different resources, and you're welcome to shoot us an email, text us, let us know what questions you might have as you go through the application process.
All right, I think we're going to go ahead and transition into the student experience panel. And thank you, Zoe and Sammy, for that great presentation. And hopefully for all of you listening in, that was helpful just to hear some highlights. And I think we just barely scratched the surface. And if you have a chance to come to campus and actually see and chat with students further, I'd highly, highly encourage that. So we're going to get a little bit more about information about the student experience, and we have Joey, Karen, and Adrian also joining us in on this conversation. So I'll start, just have the 3 of you who have not introduced yourselves yet, just give a quick introduction.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Amy. My name is Adrian. I'm a 3rd-year business administration major, concentrating in information systems with a minor in statistics. Within the Orfalea College of Business, I'm involved in various clubs and organizations, such as the Quantitative Analysis Club, Delta Sigma Pi, which I serve on the executive boards for, the student ambassadors, as we're here presenting to you guys today. And outside of the Orfalea College of Business, I work for Cal Poly Athletics. A little bit about what I did this previous summer and what I plan to do next summer. This past summer, I interned at a small startup called BAMCore, where I served on the strategy and research side of things. And this next summer, I plan on interning for Protivity, a subsidiary under Robert Half, where I plan on serving as a foundations intern.
Awesome. Thank you, Adrian. So hello, everybody. My name is Karen. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a 3rd-year business major with a concentration in accounting. I'm within the College of Business. I am a student ambassador, a multicultural business program intern, and I'm also the finance director of the Latinx Business Student Association. And for my previous summers within the College of Business, I have I interned my first 2 summers for KPMG, which is one of the big 4 accounting firms. And then this upcoming summer, I'm going to have the opportunity to be a part of Apple's finance development program, which I'm grateful and really excited about. And so those are some of the things I'm involved in within school. And then outside of the College of Business, I am also a TRIO student, which is a program for first generation students. And now I'll pass it on to Joey.
Awesome. I'll wrap us up here. My name is Joey Wong. I'm a third-year business administration major, double concentrating in accounting and marketing. And on campus, I'm involved as a student ambassador serving on the executive board. I'm also a career peer advisor in our Career Readiness Center, and I'm also an associate consultant for Mustang Consulting, which is a pro bono consulting firm. Outside of the College of Business, I'm also involved in a couple different areas, including being the president of the Korean American Student Association and also a dance club on campus. Outside the college life, of course, I've also gotten a chance to intern at Demandbase, which is a marketing technology firm located in the Bay Area. And I actually loved it so much this past summer, I'm still interning with them. So that's what I'm doing now today.
Amazing, thank you. And you may all be thinking that we handpicked like the most involved students on campus, but this is not that atypical for our students to be involved in a number of different organizations, leadership roles, interests, and it's pretty much a club for everything. So thank you. I'd love for a few of you to share just a little bit about like why you chose Cal Poly.
Yeah, I can answer that question. I'm originally from San Francisco, and growing up in the Bay, I went to a pretty competitive high school in which many times it was competitive and to the point where sometimes you'd have students kind of giving you the wrong answers or trying to get that leg above you to try to, I don't know, get into a better college or whatnot. But really coming to Cal Poly, it was a complete 180 for me when I took my tour. If I could really boil down my 3 years into one word, it'd be the people that make Cal Poly and the Orfalea College of Business so special. Whether that's your peers in the classroom, the faculty, professors, everyone's so willing to help you out, which is so amazing. And not to mention, it's right in the heart of the Central Coast, San Luis Obispo. You're right between LA and SF, a perfect location, 10 minutes from the beach. So a lot of free time to do with that as well. And not to mention the resources that are open to us students at the Orfalea College of Business, whether that's professional help through the career peer advisors or peer advisors, as well as personal help with peer mentors. Everyone in the Orfalea College of Business is really helpful and always willing to help you out when you need it most. So that's kind of long-winded, but that's kind of why I chose Cal Poly and the Orfalea College of Business.
And I can go ahead and add on to that. And I think Adrian pretty much summed up the College of Business really great. I think that the people is definitely like a big part for me as well. And I think that one of the deciding factors for me was coming and visiting Cal Poly and the College of Business during Polycultural Weekend. And I really got to connect with the cultural community on campus. And I think for me as a first generation student, just being able to see all of the resources and programs that I was going to have the support from throughout my first year and throughout my time at Cal Poly, I just knew that, this was going to be the school for me. And I knew that even though I live 6 hours away from home, I was going to have those communities for me here. And I think on another note, from an academic standpoint, I think we already talked about this during the presentation, but just like the learn by doing methodology. And I think that I'm a very hands-on learner, and just knowing that in every class that I'm in, the concepts that are talked about in the textbook, just seeing how those are applied in the real world is really fundamental for me and for me to be able to learn. And so I think just seeing that and knowing that I was going to have those resources on campus, as well as Adrian mentioned, I think all of those things ended up with me choosing the College of Business as my school of choice. And I definitely do not regret my decision at all.
Yeah, and as for me, I think one of the things that was so attractive about Cal Poly and OCOB was definitely the size of the school. Even though we are a public university, I definitely think there's opportunities to feel like your voice is heard and you're an individual, you're not just a number. And I think I felt that as soon as I came to open house. So that's one thing that really stood out to me. And adding on to Adrian's point of being from the Bay Area, I also came from a very competitive academic culture. And what I noticed right off the bat when I came to Cal Poly was that work-life balance. So the students here really know how to work hard, play hard, really know how to understand what being a college student is, but also prioritizing your academics and your career. So those are a couple of things that made me choose Cal Poly.
Yeah, for me, I grew up in San Jose, California, and I'd lived in the same house my whole life. So I was convinced I was going to go out of state for college. So Cal Poly was actually the only in-state school that I applied to. And then when I had all of my options and I was touring with the different schools, I think I realized that I really wanted the sun and to be outside and to be able to sit on the lawn and study and go to the beach for, on the weekends and all the rest. And I think when I toured, it was probably April, and the sun was out and everybody was sitting on the lawn and chilling and playing spike ball and doing all the rest. So I think like the vibe that I got when coming to campus was just incredible. And if you have the chance to visit Cal Poly and to come to SLO, I would highly recommend it. I think like that's something that definitely sways people to come and choose this school. People are always very lively. We try not to wear our earphones while we walk. We really like to converse and communicate with others and have a good time. So I think I definitely felt that when I was touring and have felt that every day since.
I'll just add one little thing because everyone's given some great answers and I don't want to repeat too much, but the one thing I want to emphasize is the smiles. And I say this every time someone asks me about it, is just the attitudes. Everyone's got such a positive mindset when they're at Cal Poly. I don't know if it's the weather, I don't know if it's something in the air, but there's something about it that is special, and it's a hidden gem. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Love that. I would love for you all to kind of, anybody who has positive relationships with faculty and or like classroom experiences, what can students expect if they were to choose Cal Poly in the College of Business, and classroom and also class projects that maybe weren't highlighted in the main presentation that have been your favorite experiences so far?
I can take on the first part of this question. Thank you, Amy. I think that definitely coming here, I underestimated just how much like professors want to see you succeed and just go on and land internships and just full-time offers. And I think that every OCOP student is fortunate enough to have a professor teach every class and not have TAs teach classes compared to other UCs or CSUs where that might be the case. And I think that also, in addition to that, just having professors as a resource and going into their office hours, for every 2 hours of class time, every professor is required to have one hour of office hour. And even if you're not able to meet those times, professors are always more than willing to just schedule time for you and being able to meet you outside of those times. And I think that I have realized just how much like they're willing to just be there to just give you advice, and not necessarily just going and just talking to them about like the concepts in class, but more so just like their industry experience, because professors come in with so much industry experience and knowledge that I think it's so great to just being able to hear from them, like how it is that they got here, and just being able to kind of see like what it is that I can do and what the next steps for me would be. And I think one class in particular, Business 214, which is a financial accounting class, my professor, she was a Cal Poly alumni, and so she wanted to come back to Cal Poly and actually give back to the school because she just loved it so much. And I think that just kind of shows how much like Cal Poly students like love the school and they want to come back and just give back to the school overall. And she was a CFO. She was on the board of a bunch of different companies, or she still is while she's teaching. So I think that just goes to show how much they're involved within the industry, but also just being able to be involved within the College of Business. And overall, I think it's just been like awesome having her as a professor. And I think that class definitely stands out to me because she was able to bring that knowledge into the classroom and being able to apply it to the concepts we learned in class.
Yeah, definitely. And just to add on to Karen's point about the culture here at the Orfalea College of Business, it's such one way I would describe it is just hungry but humble. The students here are really motivated to lift each other up, and not just your professors and faculty are willing to help you. It's very apparent in our student services. So I know Zoe and Sammy kind of touched on this earlier, but student services are basically students giving back to other students. So student ambassadors are one form of that, but we also have the peer advisors and tutoring. So if you're not as comfortable going to these professors and faculty with years of experience, your peers are right there to help you. And not only do they want to help you and see you succeed, they actually motivate you to get there. And they really want to create this community where you feel like you're able to do so. And that's something I've definitely appreciated during my time here, is that culture of just motivating each other, being hungry but humble during the entire time we're here.
Awesome. Anyone else have any like faculty relationships you've been able to establish or classroom experiences you'd like to highlight?
I think we touched on it, but our average class size is 45 to 60 students. And I think that's really important to remember. Cal Poly overall has 21,000 students, but in the College of Business, it's 3,100. So the fact that most of our classes are 45 to 60 students is actually amazing. And it means that you can have personal relationships with your professor. You're not just one out of, 500 or whatever it might be. And then the other thing is our biggest lecture hall on campus seats 230 students. And so while that is a big class size still, it's kind of like in a stadium style seating. So you still feel close to the professor, no matter if you're in the back of the room or the front. I actually took a class in there my freshman year. And by the third week of instruction, my professor knew every single person's name. So it's things like that, like, even though professors might have big classes or whatever it is, they still make that effort. And, they make it feel like it's a small personalized learning environment, which I think is amazing.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And I just welcome everybody to keep throwing questions into the chat or the Q&A. I'm going to make sure you leave here with your questions answered and get clarification on some of the things that you're curious about. But I'd love for maybe a couple of you to share a little bit about your concentration. Like, what is a concentration exactly? And maybe what was that, how's that helped you kind of narrow and maybe get set up for success in internship or career positions?
I can start off this one. So I said earlier I was an information systems concentration. What information systems is, for some of you that may not know, is really bridging the gap between technology and business, using information to solve business problems, essentially. And so the reason why I selected it was I went and took all the intro courses. I went to concentration panels, and I found that ended up being the best choice for me because I saw myself wanting to go into the technology industry, being from the Bay Area. I thought that was a pretty prevalent part of what I grew up around, and that's the area I wanted to pursue. And so being an IS concentration, IS information systems, has allowed me to learn more about technology and given me the resources to be able to have conversations with people that are more technical. And I feel like that's been very valuable throughout my internship experiences so far. And I think it will help me going forward.
Sure, I can talk a little bit about finance. So I'm a finance concentration, and to be completely honest, I submitted my concentration declaration form the day before it was due. So if you come in to Cal Poly as a first year, you have 2 years to submit, and then if you come in as a transfer, you have 1 year. And so I definitely waited till the last moment, but I think that was because I wanted to make the best decision for myself. And I'm definitely very happy with the decision that I made. So I like to think of finance as like the forward-looking strategy of a business. So if you think of accounting as like, the historicals, you're really looking at what happened last quarter, what happened in the past, how much money did you make, how much money did you spend. Finance is really like, what are we going to do next quarter? How are, the current world situations or current economic situations going to impact that? How are the different initiatives that the business side, is pushing? How are those going to impact, how much money we're going to make in this area of the business? So for me, I really loved the idea of like, there is really no answer. You're kind of like looking to find it. So it's a lot of problem solving. It's a lot of strategy. It's a lot of working with others to really understand like what the best answer is. And then also, I think another reason that finance was so appealing to me was because of how applicable it is, not only to business, but also to my own life. So in the first intro to corporate finance class that you'll take at Cal Poly, you learn everything from like, how to save for retirement, how to save for your child's college education, how to look at a mortgage, the difference between leasing a car versus loaning a car, how to fairly price a stock. So all of these things that when I was taking this class, I was like in shock about the fact that not everybody is required to take it, no matter what major you are, because I think being financially literate is really important. So for me, after taking that class, I started investing in the stock market. I started, looking at what, types of savings accounts I could open and things like that. So I think that's part of why finance was really appealing, and just a little bit more about the concentration as well.
Yeah, and adding a bit onto that, it's totally fine if you don't know exactly what you want to concentrate coming into Cal Poly. You have 2 years to decide, and you have many intro classes to take about those concentrations to really make your decision better. Whether it's taking a class that you don't like, what you don't like, or a class you like, These classes really are there to help you understand what concentration you want to go towards, and really what that is what you want to focus in within the realm of business.
Yeah, thank you. And we have, as just to reiterate, there are 10 different concentration options under the umbrella of your major of business administration or economics. ITP has 2 different concentration options, and we really have a lot of support when students are admitted initially in their first quarter through a Business 100 class. It's an orientation class where you get exposure into all the different areas you might want to pursue, including things like building in a minor, study abroad, internships, really early on. So we're starting those conversations from day one around how you could really make the most of your college experience and start to explore how your values might align with where you might want to go. The concentration can be one way to specialize that, but our students go into a multitude of different industries. So maybe just kind of moving towards more of the San Luis Obispo area. We have a couple more time for a couple more questions, but what are your favorite parts about SLO and living here? And we don't have time to list off everything, but maybe like each of you can name like 1 or 2. We could probably spend like an hour talking about that.
I can start. So I was living in SLO over COVID. So when we weren't taking classes in person, but I was still here in SLO, and I actually took up surfing for the first time. And it was like it's been one of my favorite things to do now, just to, like completely detach from technology. You can't have your phone out in the water, to learn a new skill, to, just get out. The water is freezing cold, I will tell you, but that's why you invest in a wetsuit. And I just have absolutely loved it.
Definitely, Zoe. I have not tried surfing yet, but it's definitely on my list. For me, it's definitely just, anything outdoors for me, really, I would honestly take on. But for me, hiking, honestly, there's so many hiking spots within San Luis or here in SLO. There's the P, there's also Madonna, Bishop's Peaks, and there's something called a tri-tip challenge where you try to hike all 3 of them like before a certain time in a day. And then if you are able to do that, then you go downtown and you eat a tri-tip sandwich. I think that's pretty awesome. Also on my list to do, have not done that yet, but I think hiking for me, it's definitely something I like to do.
I think that segues into what one of my favorite parts is the food. I think there's tons of food options, even if you have like dietary restrictions. There's anything and everything available, and the food's all very fresh. There's also like options to go to the farmers market, which we have every Thursday night. Fresh produce. We have all these little stands, and people will make food, and there's a great atmosphere. People that come every Thursday night, which is pretty special, I'd say.
And just one last quick thing to add. I know we're limited on time. I love that SLO is just such a small town, so it has its little things. So for example, the farmers market, like Sammy talked about, I also know we have a bike night, which I've never heard of another town having. So that's really fun. I know a bunch of the stores downtown, some of them have trivia night. We have something called Boogie Boutique, which is like vintage or people selling their own handcrafted jewelry, I think once a month. And so it's these little things that make living in SLO so worth it. It's just a very fulfilling college experience here.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. And there was a question that came into the Q&A around if you're coming in as a transfer student, when do you declare? And we encourage you to declare as soon as possible, but you do have up until the end of your first year to declare your concentration. You're going to be, as a transfer student, taking concentration classes pretty early, as early as your first quarter. And so we provide a number of different resources and support in the summer term before you start in the fall to really start that exploration process and make sure that you're also getting set up for the interview process. A lot of companies will come and do recruiting in the fall pretty early on. So we have a summer class that's career readiness focused. We have workshops, programs happening during the orientation process for you to kind of explore that early. So you're also taking the right classes in the fall. So good question. Right, I think that's all the time that we have, unless anyone else has anything else they want to add that you don't think was covered throughout the presentation or panel. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Erin. Thank you all for your time.
All right, thank you so much to our student panelists and Amy for being here tonight. I know I learned a great deal of things and continue to dive deeper into our 3 different majors within the Orfalea College of Business. Zoe, if we could load up the last slide, and the last thing I want to leave you all with tonight is going to be an opportunity to get a little raffle and to learn a little bit more about and to actually let us know how we did tonight and what questions you might have going forward. There is a chance to get a little raffle from the quick little assessment. And then Jasmine, I see a question that came through. I just want to answer that real quick. A little bit more information about housing. Check out that Cal Poly Admissions YouTube page. I'll give you the link right now. There's actually some really good resources on everything housing related. And then you can also do a virtual tour that will showcase or even come to campus on more things Cal Poly's housing. So I'll throw out in the last thing that we do is the quick little link for you all on housing. And without further ado, utilize that QR code to go home with that quick little survey. Let us know, and there is a chance that you get to win a quick little raffle. So check out that for more information. Thank you again so much for joining us here tonight. Have a great evening, and do not forget to apply if you're looking to apply this fall by November 30th. Thanks so much, and continue to dive deeper into Cal Poly. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Hey there, my name's Rafael. I'm a 4th year journalism transfer student with a minor in Spanish, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Thank you for watching the video. Please share any questions or comments you have down below in the comments section. Click here to subscribe, and to watch more videos, click here. If you want to sign up for a campus visit, we're offering in-person and virtual options, so check out our website. Link in the description. Thank you for watching.